Would you risk spending your last $15,000 to scale your business and risk having only $2 left in your bank account? If you're someone who would make that risk, then I have an interesting story to tell you. Because we recently had a client who, we only learned of this after the fact, but after joining our program, had only $2 left in his bank account. I'm gonna put a screenshot of his bank account here. But this is one of the most courageous person that I know. But what's interesting is the outcome of this courageous act. He went from having only $2 left in his bank account to 15 days later, collecting over $24,000 in cash in the new market. Now, I'd love to just briefly describe kind of like the action plan that we took in order to take him from trying to sell to coaches and consultants and struggling for the last few months, the last few years to scale his agency, to being able to go into a local business niche and scaling plus multiple six figures in the first 15 days of launching this new offer. Okay, so name is Felix, also has a partner. Her name is Jolie. They joined the Growth Creator program after just learning how we're helping companies, agencies, and consultants get away from being commodities and get away from competition. They just loved what we're doing. So the first thing we did is we first tried to scale their offer in the coaching and consulting space, built out a new build and release offer, then built out a client acquisition infrastructure, paid ads, appointment setting teams, as well as their kind of like sales assets and designed their sales process. But we realized that the competition in this coaching coaches and consultants, it's so competitive that even having the right offer is a little tricky. The only people who are in the coach and consulting space who are helping this niche scale and actually making a lot of money, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every month, are people who have personal brands. So if you don't have a personal brand, if you don't have an audience, I highly suggest you don't go into that niche, okay? So after we realized this fact, what we did is we got them to switch to the solar industry, okay? What did we do? First, same thing. We built a build and release offer, okay? So we don't come in and be like, hey, as traditionally retainers, when they're agencies that sell retainers, they'll go to a niche and they'll be like, hey, pay me $2,000 a month and then I'll run your Facebook ad. But even that local niche is also used to that a little bit too much. So the people don't find it as attractive. So what we did is we crafted a build and release offer. So what they're doing is coming into the solar company, building their infrastructure, the client acquisition infrastructure, right? So they're not just coming in and running ads. They're coming in and being like, hey, we'll design your creatives. We'll build out the creative infrastructure, we'll build out the paid acquisition infrastructure, right? So lead gen, appointment setting, and then we'll also build a team of appointment setters. We'll convert this attention into qualified appointments. Okay, and then for that, they'll do like a 90-day deal where they'll charge up front. The price doesn't matter. You can charge 5K, 10K, 15K. It depends on who you're working with. And after we built that offer, the next thing we did is we started running their ads. So we helped them build up an ad campaign. And I believe that they were booking calls for right around $15 per booked call in the solar industry, which is insane. Imagine going from, I think that, I forgot what it is, but I'm trying to find a screenshot. But he said that in the first 10 days, they booked more calls than they had booked in the past few months, in the first week of doing client acquisition and leveraging paid ads in the solar industry. And after that, we had solved their appointment setting problem. And then the last problem that was left is their sales process. Okay, so Felix and Jolie were trying to close themselves, but they weren't necessarily at the position where they didn't have a lot of context in this new niche because this was something that they've never sold before. So what we decided to do is we helped them bring in a closer. My number one advice to everyone who's getting into a lot of new industries and being like, hey, let me learn to sell, let me learn to close. I personally do not believe in that advice. I don't believe, and the reason why I don't believe in it is because the goal of a founder is to build and own a company. It's not to be the person who's taking care of all these things. I don't personally want to be the best lead gen person. I don't want to be the best appointment setter in my company. I don't want to be the best closer in my company. I actually don't also want to be the best consultant and strategist and client success person in my company because I want to build a business. I don't want to be good. I don't want to be the superstar. I'm past that. What I want is I want to give an opportunity, attract the right people, and then give them the right opportunities for them to be great at everything, right? So if you know that that's the end goal, why would you spend 3 months losing calls, not closing deals because you're trying to be good? Isn't that a waste of money? A lot of people, a lot of advice. And the reason why, I guess when you guys buy courses, the reason why the person will tell you, hey, here's a sales script, go close some deals and learn over time is because they're trying to sell you ease. But if I tell you that, hey, you're not actually going to learn to sell, you're going to learn to hire, which is a much more leveraged skill than learning how to sell. Because a person who knows how to build sales teams will scale faster than the best closer. So do you want to do the game where you can only make, let's say, a few $100 grand a year? Or do you just want to skip to the skill that can allow you to make millions of dollars every year or even every month. So for me, this is how I think. I go straight to like, hey, what is the end outcome? And based on the end outcome, we will make decisions on how we will build your client acquisition and scale your company. So we built their offer, build their acquisition infrastructure with paid ads. And then of course we help them build an appointment setting team. And then the last thing is we help them find a closer. And here is where things change. They went from having a closing rate that is below 10%. I think they had not actually even been able to close the deal. The first 25 sales calls that they generated to this new closer, he closed, I believe, 5 clients, which is insane. Because they had previously generated over 50 sales calls and not been able to close. And once we helped them place a closer in, they collected 20 grand in 11 days. And then 25 grand 15, 14 days later. And that's what I mean by you guys need to skip this learning phase, like this learning curve or learning every single skill. I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn how to do lead gen, you shouldn't understand appointment setting, you shouldn't understand how to sell, you should understand these. But the person who wants to scale the fastest is a person who's gonna eradicate these issues, these obstacles from ever occurring in the business. And the only way you do that is by finding the best people and hiring them in each section and department of your company. Okay, so this is the story of how we help them. So first things first, we help them get out of the coaches, consultant niche, where they're super competitive, right? I think that in that coaching and consulting niche, there's maybe 1% of people who are actually making money, and the 99% of every service provider in that niche is broke. So if you're in that niche, I highly suggest you get out of it. And then the next thing we did is we pivoted them to a local niche, built to them a build and release offer. So they're selling infrastructure, right? So they're solving every problem that a solar business would have, okay? And then a 90-day deal. And then after that, a lot of people will be asking, well, how do you retain people? Well, you retain them on a management deal, on a leveraged consulting deal. So you don't sell your time anymore. And that's why it's much more scalable. And yeah, so after getting them into a new niche, after building their offer, after building their client acquisition infrastructure, we helped them put a closer in place and got them to be removed from selling their own offers. And it went from having, not both of them, but Felix had $2 left in his bank account to collecting over 24 grand in just 15 days. So if you're currently struggling and you're asking yourself, why? Maybe because you're in the wrong niche that is super competitive. Your offer is probably not as attractive if you're just selling commoditized services like appointment setting, Facebook ad, YouTube ads. Like if you're selling that just one single solution to a problem, you're just another one of those, and there's just a bunch of people doing the same thing as you, so why would people choose you in the first place, okay? So build and release offer, eradicate the competition, and then we leverage paid acquisition to just scale faster, and then we also help put a closer in place, so we can just make sure that we can make money. So that was the transformation from $2 in the bank account to over 20K in cash collected in just like 11 days. Yeah, if you guys are interested in scaling your businesses and you guys want to work with us, I highly suggest you guys check out the Growth Creator Model intro program that I created over 5 days. It's over 12 hours because it is super sophisticated and you guys need to learn more, okay, about business models and things like that. And once you've seen it and once you understand everything, if you feel like this is the right move for you to make, then I'd be happy to have my team come in your business. We partner with you over the next 4 months or 6 months, and then we just change up everything about your business, your offer, your client acquisition, your sales process, and also help you with your fulfillment and retention. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye.